What's up, everybody? Brent Wofford and Travis Smart here, and today we are coming at you with the May real estate news and market update. All right, well, thanks for joining us, and we've got San on the line as well. So, San, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and speak to your audience and do a little education on the real estate market. What's up?
How you doing? I can't wait to hear about all the things that are going to be happening right now. I know you guys got a lot of things to chat about, so I'm going to let you get to it, my friend. I'll chime in whenever I can, but let's listen in.
All right, man. Thanks. If you got any questions that pop up while we're chatting, just drop on in. So let's kick it off with the Prescott area market. We're not just talking about Prescott today. I've got some market stats, some key facts that I want to go over with you all. Let's just dive into the MLS here. So first of all, let's go over Prescott proper. So actually, city of Prescott. Right now, we're looking at a total number of listings at 410 listings, which is up. So our inventory's gone up a little bit over the past couple of months, which is typical for Prescott. You know, the winter months, most people don't put their houses up. They're waiting for the snow to melt off or it to warm up and, you know, buyers to come out of Phoenix, right?
Yep, as well as California. You know, they don't want to come out to the cold. Now that it's perfect out, it makes sense to, you know, put it on the market, drive more traffic for sure.
Yeah, so it's a trend that we typically see year over year, right? You can see kind of in the graph. Last year was the same thing. March, what was this? June started going. There was a jump from March to June, July. So it's kind of the same thing. Jump from March to April. We're at 410 homes on the market. Technically, we are still in a housing shortage. So we'll talk about real estate news here shortly. I just want to get through the market stats for our area, and then we'll dissect them and let you know what they mean. So 410 houses on the market. We're talking about residential homes in Prescott, readily available. I'm not talking about new constructions. I'm not talking about, you know, buying a piece of land, anything like that. It's houses that are turnkey. You could buy it today and, you know, either start working on it or painting it tomorrow, right? It's a little further, the process is a little longer than that, so don't take me at my word on a one-day closing.
Just painting.
Maybe Travis can do a one-day closing, huh? You get a loan done in one day?
Maybe before I got
What's your record?
My record is 9 days on a VA loan.
Man, that's impressive.
That was it was awesome. It was a very exciting time, and client was on it. Everything aligned, appraisal, everything. It was amazing.
That's super impressive.
I could just stop it.
Seriously, that's the shortest VA closing window I have personally ever heard of. I've heard of them doing them in 20-something days, but 90, that takes the cake. So back to the Prescott stats real quick. I don't want to lose you. Sometimes getting into the weeds of the data can be a bit boring, but let me bring your attention back with the average sales price last month in April was $575,000, which is actually down from March, which is right at $601,000. Another thing we like to look at is days on market. So look at this. Last month we were 82 days on market on average. What days on market means is from when a sign goes in the ground and the home hits the MLS to when it goes under contract. April we were down to 51. So that's
pretty drastic drop.
That is a huge drop. That's the most significant drop we've seen in the last year. So that tells us buyers are coming out from under their rocks or, you know, wherever they were hiding at, you know, during the winter season. They're like bears, right? Bears are hibernating through the winter, and we had high rates and cold temps, and now the buyers are coming out of hibernation. So Travis can speak to that.
Yeah, I think a lot more of it is people had expectations or hopes that the market was going to completely drop off, and over time they've realized, hey, it's not. I mean, it's just not. And obviously, especially with the tight inventory, as Brent is talking about, I mean, there's not enough houses.
Yep. Speaking of tight inventory, Prescott Valley, you have the tightest inventory in our area right now. As far as when we talk about tight inventory, we're talking about months of supply or demand versus supply. If you don't know what that means, just hop on YouTube and type in Economics 101. You'll get a fantastic lesson on YouTube of supply versus demand. But anyways, Prescott Valley, you're at 175 residential homes on the market as of today. The average sales price last month was $472,000, which was a significant drop from March, which was actually up to $495,000, which is the highest we've seen in the last 12 months in Prescott Valley. So Prescott Valley just really shot up for some reason between November and March, skyrocketed, and then fell off a little bit in April, but still, April's still second highest month in the last 12 months of sales in Prescott Valley. So Prescott Valley's on the up and up. Days on market, though, for some reason is up a little bit more as well. So we went from 66 days in March to 68 days in April. Again, when we're talking about days of supply, we're looking at supply of homes versus demand. And right now we're at what we call 1.89 months of supply, which means that if no new houses hit the market starting today, we would run out of homes to sell in Prescott Valley in 2 months.
Well, hopefully they keep coming on the market.
Yeah, well, and obviously if you want to get your house on the market, that's what I'm here for. I'm local realtor right here out of Prescott. So
amazing. He's amazing. Don't sell yourself short, my friend.
Chino Valley. Let's hop into Chino Valley stats real quick. Active listings to date, 80. Can you believe that? 80.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Chino Valley just doesn't, for some reason, there's not a whole lot of houses on the market. So that's the lowest number of houses for the three cities we're talking about today. However, because of sales in Chino Valley, last month's sold listings was 28. We're looking at a supply of 2.5 months. So from 1.9 months in Prescott Valley to 2.5 months in Chino. Average sales price last month in Chino Valley was $352,000, so a bit more affordable than Prescott Valley and Prescott.
Yeah.
And the days on market over there is 59 days, so just under 60 days on market on average. So that is your Prescott area market stats. Do you have any questions on market stats?
Well, I think it's interesting because it seems like Prescott Valley and Chino Valley have the same amount of days on market on average. Like they're all within 10 days of each other as far as average days on market. But I do think it's interesting as well how there's been obviously not a lot of listings in those areas, but the average price point has gone down a little bit. To me, it's hey, if it's only at 60 days, average days on market,
Yeah.
I think that there's, if you're looking at a house that's over 60, maybe there's more negotiating power. You would know more about that
absolutely.
than I do. But yeah, I mean, what are you seeing on your end as far as people wanting to list their homes and people who are really interested in moving right now?
Man, I've got I don't want to say Rolodex full, but I've got a pretty good list of sellers that I've been talking to in the last 6 months who are just holding off right now. They're thinking, the market's going to heat up a little bit this summer, and prices are going to come back. Bidding wars could potentially come back.
Yeah.
So, they're not urgent to get that sold or that for sale sign in their yard tomorrow. They're kind of more taking their time and taking it easy and trying to make a smart move.
And that's what I've been kind of seeing on my end is more people who don't want to be contingent on a sale, who don't want to sell their house first. They want to either rent it out or decide to possibly sell it later. But I am seeing a lot of people kind of leverage that, especially with some of the lower rates. They don't want to sell them, but they do want to leverage them to the max extent they can. What's interesting to me is even if you were to compare, hey, where the prices are at right now to where they were when interest rates were, even 3.5%. 4%. I mean, it's not too much it wasn't too much of a huge drop off. I think it was just the fashion in which.
I'll jump back into Prescott.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So we can look at prices. So, yeah, here you go. It's very interesting with Prescott. Right now, like I said, we're at $575,000 was the average sold price in April. So that wasn't the list price. That wasn't the I want this much for my house. This was buyers were actually buying houses, and this was the median price of those houses that got bought last month. But you can see it's kind of been a roller coaster since last March. I mean, it was high. So we did see it go real high in January,
That
February
was about
of last year.
when the 3% rates like just completely dropped off.
But what month would you say rates were highest? October, November?
I would say October, late September to early October, which you probably wouldn't see the actual until November is when you would see
the
those
results.
people. Yeah.
And the reason we say that is because the average escrow in our area is 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a little bit longer depending on what kind of loan type you're doing. You could have a 45-day escrow. But on average, what would you say, about 30 days?
About 30 days. And also, the only other thing I've seen play a part in that is the seller situation, whether they want to be out later, they need a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see here, we had a direct drop in the list or in the sold prices, right? So October, 585, November, we were at 600. And then it just started sliding, like we were going down the fun part on the roller coaster. If we were on a roller coaster, not so much fun for real estate, but you know what I mean? We had a pretty significant drop month over month over month, all the way down to an average sales price of $489,000 in February. So under 500 grand. I'm not average. I keep saying average. I meant median sales price in February, and then March, bam, shot back up.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because we had a little dip in rates at
the
beginning of the year?
That's a part of it. I think it's also more people were coming out here around that time as well. I think that a lot of folks, we had a little bit longer, interesting winter this year, I would say. And I think that definitely slowed down a little bit of the folks who are planning on coming here. Well, I think a lot of people are coming here now. I mean, obviously this last weekend, downtown was pretty busy.
We had the whiskey, man. There was 5,000 plus people that came to town. I think that was a stat. That was a loose stat that I heard. Is that they was bringing around 5,000 people in town, which is awesome. Some of those people could be home buyers.
It was awesome too, because it was like last time I got on a bike was probably about 20 years ago, and then there's all these people just emasculating me out on the roads, and I'm like, man, I think I'm maybe half that person's age, but they're in better shape.
Funny, man. So let's dive into some mortgage updates. What do you got going on the mortgage front? So if you didn't know, Travis is a lender, Guild Mortgage, the smartest lender in town. Based on his last name. Based on more than that. But anyway, that's true. He does have brains.
I do a little bit. That's all I got going for me. So one of the biggest topics recently has been a lot of news has been talking about the loan level price adjustments that went into effect yesterday. So what loan level price adjustments are is essentially what the cost is to get rates, right? So there's different things for different situations. So if you have, before it was based strictly off of your loan to value and your credit score on the grid, but today now it's based off of multiple factors. So loan to value is, say you're looking at buying a house and it costs $100,000, okay? You want to put 5% down for yourself, and so your loan to value would be 95%. So typically, in a lot of ways, you would think about it, hey, the more you put down, the better your pricing is going to be, because there's going to be more equity in that home, less risk on the lending entity. But what FHFA just did for conventional loans, which are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, is they put in loan level price adjustments for, a lot of them are in, the changes are, before if you had a credit score over 740, you were getting the best rate possible. They've added in a couple of additional tiers. So from 740 to 759, from 760 to 779, and then 780 and above, there's no hits. Also, they've made pricing a lot better for people who are putting less than 5% down. So a lot of first-time home buyers. That actually is better for all folks. It doesn't matter if you're 800 credit score all the way down to 620. It got better for you across the board just at that loan to value. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot about on the news is essentially trying to say that the people with the best credit scores are kind of being taken. I'll say that's the best way I know how to put it, and that the people with the lower credit scores are getting all the advantages. Which, hey, lower credit scores, anything below 679, which is still a good score, is seeing almost across the board better pricing or on their loan level price adjustments. But what I think is also interesting is last year they implemented a loan level price adjustment on second homes.
Yeah.
which was way bigger than anything
That was
that's
so aggressive.
way
Oh,
bigger than
man.
anything. But they were trying to drive, because of the low inventory, more people buying primary residences,
Yeah.
and they want to make, with the low inventory today, home ownership more attainable for the first-time home buyer. So if you have an amazing credit score, you're still going to get a better rate than somebody with a 620 credit score. You just are. It's just not as good as what it would have been, and all it's doing is essentially increasing the cost a little bit. So there are different thresholds where you say you get a little bit higher rate, you're not paying for it. You're not going to pay points. You're not going to pay anything like that. But another thing to keep in mind as well is these changes only impact conventional loans.
Yeah.
End of story. FHA, VA, USDA are not at all impacted by these loan level price adjustments, but it does give a lot of help to the first time home buyer, because I don't know about you, but if I was buying my first home, I wouldn't have 20% to put down.
No.
It would be hard enough
Typically
to save up, the 3%. And obviously also, it's just a lot of people who have maybe a little bit lower credit scores, it's not necessarily because they've done bad things.
Mhm.
It's because maybe they have a shorter credit history,
Yep.
less versatility in their credit. Maybe they've only ever had a car loan. They never had any sort of credit cards or revolving debt, or where they were making payments on it. And then, like I think the first 3 years into getting my credit established, I was below 680, even though I had never made a late payment. I didn't have a huge use on a credit card. It was just strictly because of the timelines.
You didn't have bad credit. You just had little to no credit.
Exactly.
You had the history wasn't there. And that makes me think, reminds me of the first house that my wife and I bought. We went FHA, 3.5% down. So in that we were in the somewhere between 650 and 700 credit scores back then. And that was an FHA loan that we used, though. So these loan level price adjustments you're talking about wouldn't be in effect. And I did bring up a chart for you to kind of give a visualization of what's going on. So you can see that they're really trying to help out those with lower money down, and then also with sub 700 credit scores. And there's a little bit of a cost if you have over a 700 credit score, but if you're tier 1 plus, if you're 780 or higher, you're not even affected unless you're putting 15 to 20% down.
And another thing as well is that there are ways, and people, there are ways for you to take advantage of the better LLPA with less money down, in the sense of, why do people always put or have the number 20% in their head? Because of mortgage insurance, right?
They're trying to get away from it.
But if you
you
could do 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer, or less than that, or or 5%. Say if you want to get different pricing things, do upfront mortgage insurance. And my company actually has an amazing recast program where you can then just put a big payment towards the principal balance, and they'll adjust your payment down based off the updated outstanding principal balance. But that way you're taking advantage of the best tier. So it's just running our clients through a bunch of different scenarios to figure out which one is the best strategy for them. But even myself, obviously I'm a veteran. I mean, I've bought every home that I own with a VA loan. VA is not impacted, but the other thing that got better for prospective buyers is on FHA, the mortgage insurance premium that was being paid out dropped 30 points. It went from 0.85 to 0.55.
Wow.
And
that's huge.
That is huge. It was it made a huge difference.
Dude, that's and somewhere between 35 and 40% reduction.
It was huge.
In MI, man.
And the other thing is, if you have better than a 620, 640 credit score and you're going FHA or VA, you're getting the best rate possible. These tiers are strictly tied to conventional loans, and a lot of the information that I've been hearing going around is just essentially just trying to drive people's emotions. And this was actually announced several months ago, and then one news entity tried to turn it into something and made it a huge deal. So.
Yeah, that's how it goes with news, though, man. It's like
they
trying to put out the headlines to grab the attention, because that's what it's all about now is attention.
And just driving emotions, and the easiest emotion to derive from somebody is a negative one. It's easy to make someone upset than it is to make someone happy,
So let's roll into the news. Let's talk about a little bit of national news and a little bit of local news. I'll just dive in and say, nationally we're seeing headlines of housing shortage here, housing shortage there, and that is kind of playing into our market a bit. I mean, we did go over the market stats, and I told you what our inventory looks like, and technically from an inventory standpoint, we are in a shortage, or what you would call a seller's market, right? I got to throw those air quotes out there because it's all perspective into how many houses are selling in a given month versus how many houses are on the inventory, and it's been fluctuating quite a bit. But we are still under the threshold of 4 months of supply. Anytime we have less than 4 months of supply, we are in a shortage. So yeah, we're seeing that locally, more so in Prescott Valley, like we went over in the stats, than we are here in Prescott and Chino. But the whole Quad Cities area, we are in a shortage.
Well, and I think about it from the standpoint of this is with where rates have kind of been at, which is a higher point, right? What happens when rates start going down? What happens with this shortage
More
that we already
buyers coming
have?
to the market.
Yeah, so how much more of a shortage would that cause, right?
Oh, it's going.
It's
well, we can't say it is going to do something because we can't predict. We don't have a crystal ball here. This is a coffee mug, not a crystal ball.
Oh, sorry, I was reflecting different.
But we got a little bit
sorry.
of light reflecting off of it, and then it's got a circle top, so it can be confusing.
Yeah, no, draw
Anyways.
your own conclusion for sure.
Yeah, so here I'm just gonna pull up NAR, which is National Association of Realtors. Here's the latest news headlines they've kind of got going on. Mortgage rates fluctuate, but the market is stabilizing. So we were kind of talking about that. Despite weekly volatility and the borrowing costs, the overall trend is down. And let's speak into what the experts are saying. About that. What can you tell us? You follow Barry Habib, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So-
yeah. Papa B. A lot of what we're looking at is showing, hey, next week CPI is going to be updated and released. That's on May 10th. And one of the things that has been a huge lagging indicator holding CPI up a little bit, or inflation, is shelter cost. Shelter makes up almost 43% of core inflation. And once what's going on actually hits the data, that's when we're going to see inflation going down. And based off of what we saw last year, because what they do is they replace the previous year's number, which was a really high one. A lot of speculation is that on May 10th, we're going to see the beginning of a huge improvement in inflation, which is then in turn theoretically supposed to drive rates down because mortgage interest rates follow inflation.
Yep.
We're also expecting the Fed to announce tomorrow. The markets are expecting a 25 basis point hike and possibly a pause. Whether or not that's what they say will be seen tomorrow when Jerome Powell makes his statement on their meeting. But yeah, really exciting time.
Yeah.
Really exciting time. But yeah, today at least is a better day for interest rates. That's nice,
And it fluctuates daily, just
It does.
like this news article is saying. Travis is in that every single day and multiple times a day looking at rates. So he knows when the best time to lock is going to be, and if you want to know what that means, to lock your interest rate, reach out to him. So another headline: low inventory dampens spring market kickoff. So we just talked about the low inventory and what we're seeing here in Prescott, and it kind of is because as what Travis was saying, as rates start to come down, more buyers are going to get off the fence and get into the market and get their pre-quals, get ready, get out there, get home shopping. And if we don't have homes hitting the market, the inventory is just going to go lower and lower. And unfortunately, there's not enough houses out there already. So if there was more inventory out there, we would have more sales. But because of the low inventory, we don't have as many sales.
And people aren't, not that anybody ever should, but I would say that buyers, rightfully so, aren't settling right now. You know what I mean? They're waiting for that perfect home. They're looking, they're seeing multiple homes a lot of the time, and looking for something that fits all their needs. I think that there was a lot of settling that kind of happened through late 2020 into 2021, where folks had their, with their must-haves and then their things that they would like, and as long as they had the most must-haves, they were okay with moving forward with the home. Whereas now, a lot more selective, and that's amazing for buyers right now.
Yep. Another headline: build to rent is transforming the landscape. I can say, I have seen that we've got a couple of little, would you even call them communities? Perfect word, communities, not subdivision, communities over in Prescott Valley that are build to rent, and I think they're targeting the older demographics.
There's that one.
They're nice though.
There's that one in Dewey that I know for sure.
Right off the 69.
55
It's
up,
Woodside,
Mulberry,
right?
Mulberry
by Woodside Homes.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's the Mulberry Ranch, I think.
Yeah, I think they call the Mulberry Farms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another one over across from Granville.
Yeah, Yep, right down Glassford.
Yeah, so we're seeing some of that in our community in paperwork drudgery. That's funny that they throw that on there, but yeah, I mean, most of the paperwork now in real estate, if you haven't sold a house in the last 5 years, is digital. You still have to go into title when you buy and sign some hard documents at the end, but shoot, what did you say? Like, more than half the paperwork now is digital.
Yep, and I do have some clients every so often that do like to do everything in person and on paper, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, but more often than not, folks are handling things via DocuSign on their emails and sending things that way as well. Not many people are mailing us documents anymore.
Yeah. So, and on that note, that makes it easier for remote clients to buy. So if you're not local here in the Quad Cities area and you want to buy a house here, between Travis and I, we can help you out. You know, we actually have a client right now that was shopping from a different state, from out of state. Can't go into too many details about the deal or them, but they were shopping from out of state. They did come and check out the area for a weekend, and we didn't find the right house for them that weekend. But then after that, I actually went out and took my video camera rig and videoed some houses for them, threw them on YouTube, sent them private YouTube links, and I can do that for you too. So if you're thinking of buying and you're outside of the area, I'm your boots on the ground here. Like I said, I can take my camera in, video it all for you. We get you in touch with Travis. Travis can do your pre-qual for your loan, all remotely, can work out your payments, all that stuff. We can make an offer. We do everything digitally DocuSigned, and yeah, we can get you a house, and you don't even have to step foot in it until you get the keys.
I had a client close recently who wasn't even in the country, like the entire time. They were leaving a duty station in Europe and coming here. I mean, everything was done out of country. Signed their documents, everything. So today's world, anything is possible almost. So
awesome. Any other news things that you can? I think we hit a bunch.
No. It's just a lot of exciting times, different changes, and definitely looking forward to next week with the CPI data. Let's see if the different things different things that we were expecting actually happened, and it's gonna be nice when it does.
Yep.
We're definitely looking forward to that.
So if you have any questions and you're here watching us live, drop them in the comments section. We'll be here just for a couple more minutes. We'll answer those for you. And I got San on the line still. San, you got any questions or any thoughts?
Listening to you guys and everything that you guys are talking about, it's like the education of all educations. And it makes sense to keep tuned with this. I saw that there was a comment in the messenger acknowledging that, are you guys doing this every week? And let's reiterate when you're going to have these talks in order for people to tune in and listen to the experts.
Yeah, so we do this once a month. We do it at the beginning of the month, typically the first Tuesday of the month, so that way we're fresh off of the data from last month. You're getting current data that's not 2-3 weeks old or stale. You're getting current market data and current news. We do it once a month.
And if you do have any questions throughout, you can definitely reach out to Brent directly.
Yeah. Or Travis.
Yep. And if you guys have any questions, we'd love to answer them at any point. So don't just wait around for this. If you do have any questions, please reach out directly, and we're both very responsive.
And it's also cool because your guys' information have been scrolling on the bottom. So if you guys want to contact them,
thanks, Sam.
Reach out to them, acknowledge that they're there. These people are open. Doors are open. The questions, if you have them, send them all the way. And then if you guys ask us any questions, we'll go ahead and send them right back to the experts. But you guys sound like you guys know what you're doing. Some pretty big things are happening, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Cool. Thanks for having us, San. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, San.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, man. All right, Brett, close us out, my friend.
All right. Well, that was your May Prescott area market update. Again, I'm Brent Wofford, local rad realtor, and this is Travis Smart, lender with Guild Mortgage, the smartest lender in town.
Smart Choice Lending Team over at Guild Mortgage. Thank you so much.